Right now, as you listen to these words, billions of human beings across the planet are experiencing a collective, state-sponsored madness. Grown adults, highly evolved primates with the capacity for advanced calculus, engineering, and space travel, are currently screaming at television screens. They are weeping bitter tears, hugging complete strangers in the streets, and feeling their blood pressure spike to genuinely dangerous levels. And why? Because a 22-year-old millionaire wearing a neon jersey kicked a leather sphere into a giant net made of string. If an alien spaceship arrived over a World Cup stadium today, they would be utterly, completely baffled. Objectively speaking, football makes absolutely zero sense. It does not find a cure for diseases. It does not build infrastructure. It does not harvest crops or solve climate change. Instead, it consumes billions of dollars, halts national economies, and alters the emotional state of entire continents, just to move a ball from point A to point B. But here is the great secret your conscious mind does not realize. Your brain does not know it is a game. To your deep, ancient, subconscious mind, the World Cup is not entertainment. It is a literal matter of life and death. It is the continuation of a 50,000-year-old survival strategy. When you look through the lenses of evolutionary psychology, biology, and history, you uncover a dark, beautiful reality. Your brain is utterly obsessed with football because it triggers the exact same neural pathways that kept your ancestors alive on the dangerous plains of the ancient world. Once you see the hidden code behind the sport, you will never look at a match the same way again. To understand why we love this game, we have to perform a factory reset on our minds. We need to travel back about 50,000 years to the Pleistocene epoch. Back then, human beings did not live in comfortable apartments with high-speed internet and grocery delivery. We lived in small, tightly knit nomadic tribes of about 50 to 150 people. In that environment, survival was an extreme sport. If your tribe did not work together with absolute, flawless precision, you either became lunch for an apex predator, or worse, you were wiped out by a rival tribe competing for the exact same hunting grounds and water sources. Evolutionary psychologists point out that human survival relied almost entirely on two main collective activities: coordinated hunting and tribal warfare. Think about what a coordinated hunt looks like. You have a group of individuals moving across a massive, open field. They cannot use loud words because they will scare away the prey, so they rely entirely on nonverbal cues, body language, and spatial awareness. They pass a weapon or a tool between each other. They create space, they flank from the left, they defend the rear, and they patiently look for a sudden, fleeting opening to strike the target. Does that sound familiar? It should. That is literally a modern 4-3-3 tactical formation. When you watch a world-class midfielder spot a tiny, impossible gap in a defensive line and slide a perfect through ball to a rushing winger, your modern brain experiences a massive rush of pleasure. Your ancient brain hardware is cheering in the background. It genuinely thinks the hunting party has successfully isolated the prey, and that the tribe is going to eat tonight. But football is not just a hunt. It is also warfare. In ancient times, when territory ran out, tribes fought. But open, chaotic warfare is incredibly dangerous. If two tribes engage in a bloody battle, everyone risks dying, which is terrible for the survival of the species. Over thousands of years, humans developed a biological need for what scientists call ritualized warfare. This was a way to test which tribe was stronger, faster, and more dominant without instantly slaughtering half the population. Football is the ultimate, peak evolution of ritualized warfare. The pitch is the disputed territory. The ball is the critical resource. The goal is the enemy's vulnerable village center. And the 11 players on the field? They are your tribe's chosen, elite warriors sent to defend your honor. Now, you might say, okay, that makes sense for the players on the pitch. They are running, fighting, and sweating. But why do I, sitting on a couch eating snacks, feel like I am going to have a literal medical emergency? To answer that, we have to look at a terrifyingly powerful psychological phenomenon known as in-group versus out-group bias. Human brains are hardwired to categorize the world instantly into two distinct categories: us and them. In our ancestral environment, identifying us kept you safe, while failing to recognize them got you ambushed. Football triggers this ancient bias with terrifying efficiency through colors, songs, and rituals. When you put on your country's jersey, paint your face, and sing the national anthem along with tens of thousands of people, something incredible happens inside your endocrine system. Your brain floods your body with a hormone called oxytocin. Oxytocin is often called the love hormone, but scientists have a much darker name for it: the ethnocentric hormone. Oxytocin does two things simultaneously. It drastically increases your love, trust, and empathy for people inside your group, but it also drastically increases your suspicion, fear, and aggression toward people outside your group. This is why sports fans can go from peaceful, rational citizens to raging fanatics in a matter of seconds. Your brain chemistry has literally shifted gears into war mode, and this is not just psychological, it is completely measurable in your bloodstream. Studies have shown that when a fan watches their favorite team play, their testosterone levels track the match with shocking precision. If your team is winning, your testosterone spikes, making you feel confident, dominant, and happy. If your team loses, your testosterone crashes, and your body drops into a state of hormonal mourning. In fact, a famous study measured cortisol, the human stress hormone, in the saliva of fans during major football tournaments. They found that during high-stakes matches, fan cortisol levels spiked to levels comparable to soldiers experiencing active combat training. Your body genuinely believes you are on a battlefield. When your team loses, your brain registers it as a literal, physical defeat of your tribe. You feel weak, exposed, and vulnerable to predators, which explains the profound silence and sadness that blankets a city after a devastating loss. Let us dig deeper into the actual design of the game. Why football? Why not cricket, or baseball, or chess? Why has this specific sport conquered every single corner of the globe? It is because the physical geometry of football perfectly mimics territorial invasion. Think about the rules. The most misunderstood and argued rule by casual viewers is the offside rule. To a non-fan, offside seems like an annoying technicality that ruins the fun and stops goals from happening. But from an evolutionary standpoint, the offside rule is pure genius because it simulates the ultimate military threat, the ambush. If there was no offside rule, players would just stand right next to the enemy goal all game long, waiting for a long kick. It would be cheap, lazy, and tactically boring. By banning a player from simply lurking behind the last defender, the game forces the attacking team to execute a coordinated, tactical invasion. You must break the defensive line using speed, trickery, and collective timing. It forces the warriors to display peak physical fitness and strategic intelligence to breach the enemy's borders. And then, there is the goal itself. In ancient times, the most heavily guarded part of any settlement was the storehouse or the nursery, the place where the tribe's future survival was kept. The goalkeeper is the literal embodiment of the ultimate tribal protector. He is the last line of defense, allowed to use his hands, acting as a human shield. When an opposing striker fires a missile toward the net, and the goalkeeper flies through the air, defying gravity to tip the ball over the crossbar with his fingernails, the stadium erupts. That explosion of noise is not just applause for a good athletic feat. It is a collective sigh of relief from thousands of ancestral brains realizing that the village wall held, the perimeter was not breached, and the tribe lives to see another day. But there is an even deeper neurological trick happening here that binds us to the screen. Have you ever noticed that when you watch a player kick a ball, your own leg twitches slightly? Or when a player misses a crucial header, your own neck jerks backward? You are not doing that on purpose. Your brain is literally forcing you to play the game in your mind through a unique class of brain cells known as mirror neurons. Discovered by neuroscientists in the 1990s, mirror neurons fire both when you perform an action and when you simply watch someone else perform that action. If you watch an elite athlete jump 3 feet into the air, suspend themselves in time, and execute a flawless bicycle kick, the mirror neurons in your motor cortex light up as if you were the one flipping upside down. This is why football is the ultimate spectator sport. Thanks to mirror neurons, watching a match is a highly participatory experience. Your brain experiences the micro-calculation of the pass, the panic of the defender, and the absolute euphoria of the goal. And this brings us to the ultimate peak of World Cup drama, the penalty shootout. A penalty shootout is a psychological horror film condensed into 5 minutes. Evolutionary psychology tells us that humans are social creatures who thrive on shared responsibility. If a team loses during normal play, the blame is spread across 11 people, and the brain can handle that shared burden. But a penalty shootout strips away the safety of the tribe. It isolates a single human being in front of millions of watching eyes. At that exact moment, the player's sympathetic nervous system goes into overdrive. The amygdala, the brain's panic button, is screaming that a mistake means social execution and excommunication from the tribe. When we watch a world-class player step up and completely miss the target, we are watching a biological system collapse under the weight of simulated tribal judgment. And through our mirror neurons, We feel that crushing weight in our own chests. It is agonizing, it is terrifying, and it is completely intoxicating. So, let us tie all the pieces of our evolutionary puzzle together. Why are we so deeply, irreversibly obsessed with this game? Because football is a magnificent hack. It is a biological cheat code for the modern world. We live in a society that is incredibly safe compared to the world of our ancestors. We do not have to hunt dangerous wildlife for dinner. We do not have to engage in hand-to-hand combat to protect our water supplies or territory. But our brains have not changed. We still carry the ancient, fiery machinery of the tribal warrior inside us. We still have a deep, biological need for collective identity, for high-stakes competition, and for the intoxicating rush of fighting for survival alongside a pack. If we do not give that machinery a safe outlet, it turns destructive. It manifests as real hatred, real division, and real conflict. And that is the profound, beautiful paradox of the World Cup. It takes our darkest, most dangerous ancestral survival instincts, our tribalism, our aggression, our obsession with territory, and channels them into a beautifully bounded, 90-minute peaceful ritual. It allows us to be cavemen again. It allows us to go to war without anyone actually dying. It allows us to weep, to rejoice, and to connect with millions of strangers over a shared, ancient human experience. So, the next time you find yourself screaming at your screen, don't feel silly. Don't think it is just a game. Smile, take a deep breath, and appreciate the marvelous, ancient, tribal brain sitting inside your head. It is just doing exactly what it was evolved to do, keeping the tribe alive.